T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Presents New Breed on the Block series. I'm your boy, MJ. What is good, everybody? If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on the Trap Talk YouTube channel. Shout out to all my subscribers out there, all my supporters. Love you guys so much. But man, I'm telling you right now, if you're into the reptile game, either new or you have experienced, whatever, man, if you're admired, if you hella admire reptiles, if you breed reptiles, this is the channel to be at. So it's in your favor to smash that subscribe button. Shout out to all the early birds. I'll get to you guys in just a second. But man, I got to say that tonight's episode is brought to you by my boy Shelby over at Mershon's Morphs. This guy is literally killing it in the ball python game. In like just silent moves, you know what I mean? But I feel like the silence is going to be breaking Shelby here very, very shortly if it's not already. But guys, if you're not following him on Instagram, I need you guys to go to IG right now. Follow my boy Shelby at Mershon's Morphs. And then please head over to his website, man. His website's very, very player. Mershonsmorphs.net. Okay, head over to his website and you can kind of see, first and foremost, he's a U.S. ARC supporter. Check. That's what we like. But guys, all of his, whatever he has available, stuff that he has going on is at his website. So head over to mershonmorphs.net. You can get on availability list. You can join the email list, all that good stuff. But man, I'm telling you right now, Shelby is one of the leaders in the industry when it comes to the ball python game. And I'm very happy to call him one of my sponsors of 2023. Thank you so much, Shelby. Looking forward to working with you. And like I said, guys, you can catch Shelby at Tinley. He's all right next to Justin all the time. So if you guys are familiar with going to Tinley and going to Justin's booth, well, then you know who Shelby is, because Shelby's right next to Justin at every single Tinley. What a guy to get that kind of maneuver right there. My boy Shelby's very player. By the way, one of the best guys behind the wheel. This guy has the most loped out, sick ass handles behind the fucking wheel. Okay, he's a race car driver. Nuts. Anyways, that's my boy Shelby. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to tap in to more than what you see here on a weekly basis, if you want to be a part of a sick-ass community, if you want to be a part of something that has longevity, and what I mean by that, the keeper's a part of this family, it's the Trap Talk Patreon. Make sure you go down to the very first link that you see below, click on the Trap Talk Patreon link, join the family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which will tap you in with over 150 trappers in the building. So many different channels to just kind of go back and forth on. It's so amazing, so positive, and you don't want to miss it. Shout out to my Patreon members. I love you guys so much. Appreciate your love and support, and I really, really mean that. It really just kind of baffles me how much support I have. And I just, not only on the Patreon side, just people who watch my show, people who give me love at shows, at the Reptile show. That's why I'll always go to Reptile shows, because that's, like I said, connections, everything, right? And I want to say that I'm super connected with all my Patreon members, and you guys are my hot. Okay. Now, if you want to stay on top of stuff that I have going on my other YouTube channels, because I have a YouTube channel that, I'm not gonna lie, man, I fell into another rut. Haven't been posting much, but I'm gonna get back on it. Head over to my YouTube channel, the Trap Vlogs. I'm gonna be doing some updates on some stuff that's actually going my way here as far as breeding goes. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of updates as far as my projects goes. Some ball python stuff that's gonna be hatching really, really soon that I hope is next level. It's really hard to stay up and stay relevant with a lot of you big time fucking ball python breeders out there, man. You guys are just smashing it on so many different levels, but it's also motivating because either way, I'm breeding what I want. And yeah, head over to my YouTube channel, the Trap Vlogs, go subscribe. And yeah, if you need a sick ass Trap Talk 2.0 shirt, I have select sizes available. I got to tell you, I sold over 50 shirts at fucking Pomona. That shit just, dude, murdered. Oh my God, what a time. If you went to the Reptile Super Show at Pomona, drop a comment. Let me know what you liked about the Reptile Super Show. And if you sold mad reptiles at the Super Show, let me know too, because I'm trying to get some of that feedback. You feel me? Who's ready for tonight, man? New breed on the block. Hey, I got to say, first and foremost, you already know what I said about my boy Shelby. He's a USARC supporter. I'm a huge USARC supporter. Are you a USARC supporter? USARC Florida supporter. We need to support USARC. That is our duty, because these people are what we have when it comes to shit hitting the fan. Let's be real. Stuff happens in your city, legislation-wise. Man, who's going to come to your help? USARC. That's who. Okay. So shout out to anyone who donated at the USARC auction at the Reptile Super Show in Pomona. We have Arlington. That's just around the corner. I'm looking forward to the Arlington show. I'll be there in attendance. I'm going to be dropping an episode live and direct at Arlington. And I'm going to be doing a show with my boy Bill Stiegel, of course, the mayor of Chondro Town. We have an epic Chondro episode lined up for when I land in Texas. Who's going to be there with me and Bill? Only the best. That's all I got to say. Only the best. But yeah, guys, I'm ready for tonight. I know you guys are ready for tonight. Who's here in the early birds ready for tonight? Man, I already see some lovely faces in the building. Here's one of them. Chantel, Pacific Rim Serpents in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Team Zoo Dreams. That's my girl. Thank you so much for tapping in. The homie Wes coming off a fresh-ass clutch. Hatching a fresh-ass clutch of some amazing Asian water monitors. Drop in the comment exactly what kind of species of Asian water monitors they were, Wes. I'm curious. I forget what that was. I know it's a sick one. Either way, congratulations, buddy. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Big Mike, 1776 Exotics, the OG Trap Talk Patreon member, the OG. The homie Constrictor Connection. It's all about connection, dog. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Julio Fulio. What is up, Julio? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Levi, FTL Reptiles, Sex and Flexin. Just had Eric Lee on the show. Eric Lee is so player. I haven't caught that episode yet. I need to. But guys, head over to this guy's podcast. Him and the homie Chris are killing it. And looking forward to getting you guys on the show here pretty soon as well, man. Thank you for your support. Trap Talk Patreon members all day, every day. The homie Adler, Secret Weapon, my dog right here. Go follow Adler. He's going to blow up. And by the time he blows up, he's going to be too cool for all of us. And it's fuck. He's not going to do that shit to me, right, Adler? I believed in you from the beginning, buddy. Guys, if you need help, if you need elevation in your logo game or any kind of marketing or branding, I can't tell you how big. I don't know where he's at, but seriously, you should really reach out to this guy. And if he's, has time to talk to you, he will really take your shit to the next level, because he's done it for me. It's my boy, and he's a Trap Talk Patreon member. He's my family. He's Adler. It's my dog. It's my little bro right here. Thank you so much, Adler. Appreciate you. The homie Jaffe, my brother from fucking Canada. Jaffe, are you going to Tinley? I hope so, Jaffe. Are you going to Arlington, Jaffe? Jaffe, can we get you to a super show, Jaffe? Please? Seriously, one of Canada's finest right here. And he just barely came into the game like less than 3 years ago. It's my boy Jaffe right here doing it right. Go give him a follow. Brian, Heath and Hatchery, Trap Talk Patreon member. It's my dog. Appreciate this guy so much. Team Zoo Dreams all day, every day as well. Eden Dens, what's up, Eden Dens? Thanks for being here. Keys, Big Keys, shooting threes all day, every day is my dog right here. What's up, Big Keys? Thanks for tapping in. Fucking hella savage support right there all day. The guy, new breeder celebrity appearance award. Big Mike, Insane Clown Posse in the building. What's up, buddy? This guy slayed Pomona from what I heard. And I still have your shirt, dog. Big Mike, I'm going to give you 2 shirts, Mike, just because I'm not dodging you, dog. It's just, you know what I mean? What are we going to do? Row 5.0. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for being here, player. I salute you. Really means a lot. Slithery Serpents. My dog Slithery Serpents in the building. Appreciate you so much. The homie Wiz Constrictors in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. That's my dog. And then we got Sexin' and Flexin' in the building. We got the homegirl Nicole. Lady Tiss Exotics. Big sis in the building. Are you going to Arlington, Nicole? I don't want to know what shows you're going to. Shit. I'm trying to hang out with my girl Nicole again. She's awesome. Good people. Steven Chapman. That's a nice fish right there, Steven Chapman. Heartland Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Aaron, Bosa Balls. Kike, my dog right here. Thanks for tapping in, bro. Appreciate your support. Clown Scientist. The homie Gage. I like that name, Gage. Reminds me of that the Marvel Or no, that was Gambit. Never mind. Was there a Gage in the Marvel in X-Men? Gage. Why does that sound familiar? Either way, sick ass name. Thanks for being here. The homie Ricky Bobby SRT in the building. Thank you so much for being here, Shane. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. And look, we got problems in the live chats. Donnie Rapture. Man, what's the point of getting here if there's no pre-show? Donnie, I don't listen. This fool's like a Twitch monster. This the way this fool does things. I'm not gonna lie, it's very impressive. He has pre-shows, he has all this stuff to get people going. I got a lot to learn from my man Donnie this year, and he's my boy now. So you know, we're collabing. What's to come with me and Donnie? I don't know. Guess we'll have to wait and find out, right? Thank you so much for being here, Donnie. Thank you for your support. Big Ray in the building, Alluring Serpents. He's currently the champion of New Breeder on the Block series. He has that belt. Not gonna lie, just because it was a good one. It was maybe because of the timing, not fair, and maybe because he's such an OG. But I don't know. Mike's an OG, so I mean, we're gonna see what happens. Either way, thank you for being here, Ray. Appreciate you so much. And we're gonna end this with Ray because it's game time. It's about that time. It's Monday. I'm ready to rock and roll. You know, the good thing about these Monday New Breed on the Block series, it gets you so fired up to be here, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy to be a new breeder because I'm still a new breeder. I've only been in this with going on 5 years. So I'm still in that bracket, that New Breeder on the Block bracket, man. So we hope you guys are ready. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. Get your shit together. Do something to get your mind right. I'm not judging. You know what I mean? But either way, it's going down. So strap up. It's getting ready. Big Mike Herp Collector coming at you right now. Episode 292. Let's go. Chee! You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk Podcasters?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
The world is not ready. We got Mike and MJ in the building. What is good, big dog?
What's good, fam? What's good? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling lovely, man. I got a fellow podcaster in the Reptile game who's just been consistent. My God, my man, you've been consistent. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to be consistent. You just got to show up. Keep getting better.
And listen, you could do anything in life, but what's the point of doing it if you're not going to be consistent?
100%. 100%.
And you know what's crazy is I don't want to get all motivational right off the bat, but it's like it goes to anything in life. It's like, how do you expect to excel in anything if you don't keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it? And then also, like we were talking earlier, you know, we getting new mic equipment, getting new shit. It challenges everything even more than what you're doing it, but it ain't gonna stop. You know what I mean? It's just, it's the whole point of evolving and leveling up, man. So we're here, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, 100%, man. You just got to keep pushing yourself, doing things that's uncomfortable. That's how you grow.
Listen, I want to start off these podcasts doing a little bit better, exposing what you guys have as far as platforms. So right off the bat, people can follow you on Instagram, right? Herp Collector is it Herp Collector on Instagram, correct?
Yeah, it's Herp Collectors everywhere.
Okay, Herp Collector, and then you're also on YouTube as well, obviously because of the podcast, right?
Yep. IG, YouTube, dabble in Facebook, Herp Collectors everywhere.
Are you doing any kind of vlogging as well as podcasting on your YouTube channel?
No vlogging on the YouTube channel, but I do have audio versions of the podcast that come out right after the episodes. So I upload that. And so it's on all major podcasting platforms.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what's crazy, bro? It's you'll get people on your bumper about like, hey, I don't want to watch it on YouTube. They just want the audio. You know what I mean? And I like catering to that, because some people, well, first and foremost, it is kind of annoying if you don't pay however much YouTube charges you now, where if you turn your phone like this, you turn it off, it stops playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to leave your phone on. And that's like, you're basically draining your battery. People are at work trying to listen. So the best way to listen, if that's your situation, is the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, all those good stuff. So that's wise, because listen, I don't make shit off that, bro. Like, I mean, I barely make anything off YouTube, but I definitely don't make shit. The monetization on those platforms, I don't really get paid shit, but it's still not about that. It's about people just being able to have other versions to listen to this on. And that's why I think it's smart that you do that, you know?
Yeah, it's another touch point.
Really is. It really is, man. But man, I had a good time at Tinley meeting you and the fam. You know, who is it? Armless Angels, right?
Yeah, Justin Thomas.
Dog, what a guy, bro. That guy. Oh man, the whole group you had was solid. You know what I mean? I remember we had a couple moments in the lobby late night. You know what I mean? It was just like, it just felt good to be around you guys. You know what I mean? And that was this. Just so you guys know, this picture right here was taken at Tinley in the lobby after, like, I don't even know what time that was.
It was about what, 1? It was something crazy. It was late.
It was right after the podcast. It was after I got done and you guys were just chilling. It was this, man. I mean, let's talk about the shows, man. I mean, what do shows make you feel like when it comes to you being a part of this? Like, how does it feel leaving a show after a good weekend, you know?
Man, it feels good. Like, I feel like I feel re-energized after a show, right? Because doing stuff on YouTube, doing stuff on social media, that's great, and I love it. Like, I wouldn't know half the people that I know in this industry without social media. But going to a show and meeting people in person and just like really getting to like vibe and fellowship with them in person, like, it's just a whole nother animal. And like, I feel like that's helped like strengthen relationships I already had, is introduced me to new people, you know what I'm saying? And it just made me feel like more a part of the industry.
And that's what it's about, because people do want to feel a part of this. I don't care how long you've been doing this for, bro. And some people try to play the tough part where like, oh, I don't show myself out. But you know, deep inside they want to, you know what I mean? It's a lot of work, and dealing with people isn't easy, as we all know. Sometimes, you know, you have people who feel like by putting yourself out there, they're trying to kiss ass. And that's not the case. Like, you know what I mean? Kissing ass is being around people who don't respect you, but you're just still fucking being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that's like, you gotta have people who make you feel like you're on the same level, or just feel like, you know, oh, like, you know, you don't want to feel belittled, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Right. But anyways, you know, that's why I feel like when you go to these shows, it is kind of, you know, you do see people clicked up with who they're there to meet, but it all comes together. Like, everyone who's there with their group, when it comes to whatever shit's cracking at the bar or whatever's happening outside of the show, everything comes together. And that's how everything, now you're just mingling groups within groups. And you know what I mean? Like, I introduce you to people, you introduce me to people, you start chopping it up, and
yeah,
it just goes down to a rabbit hole. And it's like, I love it, bro. I'm telling you, I'm at where I'm at right now because I go to the shows 110%.
Yeah, me too, bro. I love it, man. I do some of my best networking, like after hours, like we just having drinks, we just kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody just chilling, you know what I'm saying? Letting their hair down.
That's just what it's all about, man. And so also too, you know, I don't know, I feel like there's not much, because here's the thing, like I feel like on social media, right? Like, there are people who support heavily of certain people more than the others. So like, it almost looks like support's directed in one way, but at a show, you don't feel any of that shit. It's all love. You know what I mean? It's all topics of conversation that wraps around reptiles or podcasting or whatever the fuck it is. But it's all about shit we love. You know what I mean? But I will say, you know, like I said, my sponsor, shout out to the homie Shelby. This guy, as sick as he is in the ball pythons, you wouldn't think that this guy has mad handle skills on a racetrack. And it's like, I've never met anybody like that. You know what I mean? And that's one of many type sick ass motherfuckers in this game. Bill Stiegel, who was an anesthesiologist. Did I say that right? Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, you got it. You hit it.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of lives in that guy's hands at some point. You know what I mean? And he's my boy. It's just, this is why I love this shit, bro. And then look, me and you are chopping it up. It just grows, you know, and it's only going to grow from here, Mike.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's all about the journey. Like when I first got into it, like to be honest, bro, I didn't know what to expect. All I knew is like I saw these ball pythons, I started liking it. I made the decision that I wanted to breed. I wanted to get into it more. I wanted to take it serious. And then like things just really started like snowballing from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who knows what's around the corner? But so far it's been great, man. It's just been like a growing experience. Like I've grown as a person, growing within the hobby, like growing my knowledge, man. It's just like, it's so much, man. It's just, and it's something to look forward to. Like I really enjoy it, man. So I'm really looking forward to it, man. It's all about the process, man. It's all about the journey. I say all the time, man, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
You know, what's funny is like, you know, I always talk about how my whole game plan growing up in life was like being good at shortcuts. But like, you know, that's because, you know, at a young age, like, I just never understood that the journey is the true gift about getting to the end point. And then really, is there ever an end point? No, we succeed at a goal and then we create another goal. And that's just what happens. But it's what you're going through. It's what you're evolving into to get to that point. You know what I mean? So, oh man, it's pretty impressive. You know, it's just, people just need to just understand that that's a part of the growth, is the journey. And the journey isn't always going to be fucking peaches and cream, right? Like it's like we're talking about even technical difficulties, man. I mean, I remember I had a couple shows where my audio was just bad and I was like, what's going on? And it's just like, you know, and sometimes I will say that, you know, Donnie, right? You know who Donnie Rapture is from
Nerd?
Yeah,
from Nerd.
So Donnie, good thing about Donnie is like, he's not scared to hurt my feelings. Like he's going to tell me like shit that I need to fix in order to be more professional. Cause I want to be professional. Right. But some people support you, but don't want to tell you like small little thing. And I feel like you need to keep the people who are raw truth with you. Those are the ones that you always want to keep around you. You know what I mean? Because they're just trying to look after your growth. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Like, I just feel like, I feel like as much as the animal game is always evolving, I feel like this podcasting shit's the same thing. We're always going to have to evolve, bro. And why not add it to the plate, you know?
Yeah, and to touch on what you said, like you need people like that around you who not afraid to tell you like straight up. Like there's a difference between like constructive criticism, which is a good thing, and somebody just trying to tear you down. And you can generally tell the difference between the two. But you don't need people who just gonna say, yes, this is all good. Yes, this is all good. Because at the end of the day, that's not helping you get better. Like nothing's perfect. So you need somebody to look objectively and be able to like constructively criticize what you're doing and offer some feedback so you can get better. Because at the end of the day, don't you want to get better? Like I embrace people who can like really like just tell me the truth. You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you want to talk about raw truth, I mean, I did you play Pop Warner football? Did you play any kind of sports growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I played when I was young.
I mean, and were your coaches pretty competitive? I mean, I remember my coaches were like, they played like,
I grew up in a football town. Like it was like religion.
Bro. So you know how that shit goes, bro. Like, and I was brought up that way. Like I played football my entire youth, all the way through senior year in high school. And it was just like, I always had the coaches with the dirtiest mouth. I always had the coaches with like, no, you're gonna fucking hit that motherfucker. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because I played linebacker and shit, and the defense were just always had a good, solid fucking, you know what I mean? And and it's that mentality, but it's weird. I feel like that mentality's gone now. Like I feel like it's more like, okay, like let's. I don't know. Like I know that the world's a fragile place now. I know that the world's different. But
it's different now.
I feel like no matter what, like if I ever have a kid someday, I'm gonna instill that fucking beast mentality into that kid. You know what I mean? I'm just obviously gonna teach him that there are ways about going about saying certain things. Bro, I'm not making no excuse for myself, right? I'm really not, Mike. But my pops raised me to just motherfucker. No, like take no prisoners, say what you need to say. But like, I would say, and he would tell me like, yeah, that wasn't good. Like he would like, he just kind of, because my dad was that way. My dad, you can tell my dad what to do. And I just, that kind of carried on, you know what I mean? But my dad's also from that fucking, he was raised in the 70s and the 60s. And, like, come on, those motherfuckers are tough as fuck. You know what I mean? But it's all about adapting to the nowadays, you know what I mean? And but that's why I feel like sports is, and a lot of parents don't like to put their kids in sports nowadays. It's, I don't know if you realize that, but it's like a lot of Pop Warner Like, kids don't like, and I don't blame them because I got hit in the head a lot, bro. Shit, I got rocked quite a bit playing Pop Warner. I freaked my mom out quite a bit, but now like some parents just don't rather even take the risk, and they don't even put their kids in sports. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I would leave it up to the kid, to be honest.
Yeah, be parents on the sideline encouraging it too. Hit him in the mouth. Hit him in the mouth. The play don't care who make it.
Oh man,
keep your head on the swivel.
Head on this, bro. That was like, man.
That's a life lesson, bro. That's a life lesson.
You always, and as soon as you put that head down, you're gonna get rocked. You know what I mean? Like, especially motherfuckers who know that their part of the play is to block you. You know what I mean? And you don't know that, so it's like, oh man, I've been lit before, bro. I've been rocked. But I've also given it back quite a bit. You know what I mean? It's just I liked it. I don't know, man. It was. I'll never forget how emotional my last football game was because I felt like, damn, like my reason to go ape shit on somebody is like I don't have a reason to tackle nobody no more. Like, damn, it's over. You know what I mean? But it's also like, I don't know. It was just a good era of my life. I'll never forget that shit. I really won't.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So we're gonna talk to the snakes now, man. What's good? How did this journey start with you? I'm curious. When did the whole? Because I like to just kind of get to the point where when did the idea of creating a logo, creating a Herp collector? When did this shit start brewing into your mind?
Oh man, so it really happened in 2020. Just like a lot of people.
Right.
COVID, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was at the house. Everybody was chilling. I happened to be scrolling through Facebook. Like, it was the most random shit in the world. I happened to be scrolling through Facebook, scroll past this dude post. He was feeding a frozen thawed rabbit to his reticulated python. I didn't know it was frozen thawed at the time, but I just know that now after having like learned more stuff about like reptile keeping and stuff like that in general. And so like it really kind of like piqued my interest. I was like, okay, I haven't seen this before. And I started thinking about like my old roommate, like way back in the day, had some ball pythons. And so I started like looking up ball pythons. And so back in the day, my roommate, which at the time I thought he was crazy because I wasn't like a snake person or nothing, bro. Like, bro, keep them snakes in your room. Don't let them come over here. We good. You can keep them in your room all you want to, but I don't want nothing to do with them. But at the time, he had two ball pythons. He had a normal and an albino, which I know that now just based off of what I learned like since then. And so started looking at the ball pythons and saw all the crazy morphs and stuff like that. And so like really got interesting because I was like, yeah, this pretty cool. And so one thing led to another. I started researching more and more, came across like some dope YouTube channels, started watching people, following folks, finding more stuff on Facebook and IG and this, that, and the third. And so like I just really got into it and it started to quickly become an obsession. So I started talking with my wife about it. At first, she thought I was crazy. She's like, snakes, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, growing up afraid of snakes, not knowing any better, it's just you know what you know, right? And so like you got like this general like perception of snakes, and so like just to come out of left field, because at the time that's what it seemed like, coming out of left field, talking about not only do I want to keep snakes, but potentially even think about breed snakes. Like that just sound crazy to somebody who don't know, you know what I mean, to the uninitiated. And so we picked up a few snakes. Bless you, bro.
Sorry, I was coughing. I got
okay.
I smoke a lot.
Okay. Yeah, we picked up a few snakes, start keeping and whatnot, and then from there it just became a thing. Like start getting more and more snakes. Early into it, like I was picking up like some of the lower end snakes. Like didn't get into nothing too crazy. Start going to like a couple local shows and stuff like that and just picking up snakes. Ended up going to Daytona that year. Like that was huge. That was even with like kind of COVID going on and everything like that, it was a little bit different, but it was still like a big show compared to like the Jacksonville or the Gainesville show that I had been to like prior to that. And so we just started getting into it more. And so then I decided I wanted to do it like as a business, named the company THC Exotics. And THC stood for the Herp Collectors, and so obviously it was like a play off of weed and whatnot, and like had a dope ass logo too. Like
too much. I just together right now. I love that.
But then I just started thinking about it more, and I was like, if we want to do this like at the level that I want to do it, and like really like not close any doors. Like obviously I don't have no problem with weed smoking, but some doors can get Exactly. Like, think about, like, if I wanted my son or my daughter to wear a THC Exotics shirt to school, I'm gonna be getting a phone call like, Mr. Johnson. And so, like, decided to change it. And I had been watching like YouTube videos and stuff, and I had came across like Fat Man, his Leveling Up series, and so it was like really two of those series that stuck out to me. So it was the one with Brittany Garber where she was talking about like pictures and video and stuff like that, and then it was the one with Blake Stewart from Stewart Design, and he was talking about branding and shit like that. And so like I reached out to Blake and started talking to him. One thing led to another. Ended up going with Blake. Told him we wanted to rebrand to the Herp Collectors, and he was like, "What about just Herp Collectors?" I was like, "You know what? That do make a whole lot more sense." And so we went with Herp Collectors, went through like the whole process and whatnot of like talking through like what the company means and what we want to do and stuff like that, and drafted up a logo and been rocking with it ever since.
You can't go wrong with a guy like Blake Stewart. I could tell you that much. Blake is like, he's that guy. Like, if you want to talk about best of the best when it comes to rebranding or even kind of get into any of that level of professional marketing, I mean, look who he's helped in this hobby, bro. He's that's the real deal Holyfield right there, man. Shout out to you for going that route. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, Blake, he do some nice work.
Yeah,
dope stuff.
Now, who's your influences? And what I mean by that, obviously you're tapping in with some sort of like friendship or kinship with people within the hobby that was kind of making this more sense to you, I would say, or was it just YouTube videos? Like, what was really your big influence to take it to this level, especially to go to somebody like Blake, because Blake's not cheap. We all know that. Blake is like, that's like I said, you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So
right.
Let's talk about the influences you had.
So one of the people who like changed my whole outlook on breeding and just the animals that I was picking up and just my whole thought process was Reggie from Reggie's Urban Jungle. So shout out to the homie.
God.
Yeah, like yeah, you know Reggie real player, and like Reggie
player.
I reached out to him. I was like, "Yo, bro, I want to just chat snakes, and we can chat whenever you get an opportunity." He was like, "No problem, bro. No problem, bro." And so like I hit him up, and we just started talking through like my collection and what my thought process was and where I wanted to go with it. And at the time, like I was really only focusing on like codoms and stuff like that and single recessives. You know what I mean? And so he was like, "Nah, bro, like recessive is the way to go, and not just even single recessive, but like multi-recessive. So start thinking doubles and triples and stuff like that."
Right.
Like you don't got to necessarily put a clown to a clown or a pied to a pied or a hypo to a hypo, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you can mix them, you get you some double heads, and then you set yourself up to build for the future, and you can start building your collection that way. And so from that point, I just changed like my whole mentality of like how I was thinking about it. And so like that was a huge inflection point in just the thought process of how I went about projects and stuff like that. Another big influence has been Justin from Armless Angels. So shout out to the homie. Yeah. I actually met Justin through Matt. Matt is another influence, but Matt is a Big E from Ebony and Ivory Reptiles. That's how I met Justin. Was talking with Matt and whatnot. Because not Justin, but Matt would always bring up Justin and say that like he was kind of his mentor and he would like help him talk through stuff. And I was like, yeah, I need somebody to help me on a regular basis too. And so like we just formed like a chat group and we've been like kicking it in the chat ever since. And so from there, Jaffe got added to the chat, and then Stephen Moore from Whittemore Constrictors, he got added to the chat. We call him Unc. And so we talk every single day, all day.
Man, it's pretty rewarding to just be around motherfuckers we're all grown men, but we're talking about shit that just make us feel so young. Like it's right. It's like, you know, it's like we develop Christmas for ourselves all the time. And what I mean by that, we create these gifts that we know that are coming, and when they come, all we do is share with each other, and it's just like a back and forth thing. It's never stopping. This is why I love this shit. But also too, like, man, this is where it could get tough. And what I mean by that, you know, like I'm sure from what I can tell, like if you got somebody like homie like Justin from Armless Angels, he's creating some sort of like a standard in your eyes, right? Because like I said, he's putting you on, right? But that standard you either follow or you don't. Okay. Mind you, if you don't follow a standard that is taken off to the next level and your homie keeps moving up, how does that make you feel? some people don't really take that well. You know what I mean? But you can't get mad at nobody but yourself. Like if you don't take somebody advice and it's either scary to do because of money or time or whatever, well then don't get mad if that person that gave you advice is just excelling to other levels and you're just kind of just still where you are. That's what makes the ball python game tricky. You know what I mean? You can never get complacent. You can never just relax. You have to like projects are coming and going. Things are hot, things are not. That's the tricky thing about ball pythons. But I feel like if you just stay loyal to your shit, you do what you love, and if it's quality, like I've seen Justin shit, all fire.
Oh, yeah.
He's on it. I can't wait to get this guy on the show. Hey, mind you, bro, that fool's a real one too, because I asked him, I think, was it just, I think beginning of December, I asked him to come on the show. He's like, sorry, man, I can't do it. I got to do Mike's show first, and then I'll do your show.
That's what's up.
Hey, but people be doing that for me all the time, and I love it. You know, like my boy Socrates is like my best friend, and bro, like there was a certain point where he was growing, and we had our podcast scheduled, but it was going to be in person. So it was like still like 3 more months, but people were just asking him to come on the show or on their show, and he kept having to tell him no, and I'm like, stay strong, bro. Don't worry. You know what I mean? And so I respect that, man. But also that gives me respect for you because, you know what I mean? He obviously believes in what you have going on. And to him, coming on your show means something. You know what I mean? And I got to say, I never thought guests would want to come on this show so much. I don't know about you, but doesn't it feel good when you invite somebody on and they're so excited and you're just
yeah, 100%, 100%.
It's like fuck. It never gets old. I'm just like, dude, fuck yeah. Especially if it's somebody that you're kind of like, you know, you're like, damn, I hope this, you know what I mean? Or if it's somebody, how about this? Have you ever asked somebody to come on the show and they left you on scene, or and you're like, damn, okay. But then like 2 days later, they go, hey, sorry, I've been busy, but yeah, I really want to come on the show. Yeah. I love this shit, bro. I don't know about you, Mike, but I started all this just because I wanted to learn more. You know what I mean? And this was the best way to talk to somebody from a different state around the country where we could just learn more. You know what I mean? But the cool thing is, it's like how much a normal conversation could help so many other people just listening. You know what I mean? And that's why there's not enough of us. And when I say us, people who are bringing good, relevant content to the table. You know what I mean? Like stuff that's wrapped around animals. Like I see that people that you bring on, it's business on top of animals, and then it's just like elevating shit to breed, and you know, it's, I don't know, I love that you focus on, like, you know, a lot of people, they go straight for the big names right off the bat. Like they feel like they need to have the biggest names come on their show for like the first few episodes, and I don't understand why anybody would want to blow their load like that. And then first and foremost too, like there's so many up and comers that like are just about to turn the corner, and imagine talking to those people, you know what I mean, before they turn the corner. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're talking to so many people who've been doing this shit but are on a mission. You know what I mean? I saw you had my boy Matthew Summers on the show.
Oh yeah, that was a dope episode.
That's my dog right there, bro. I was very proud to see him come on your show, I gotta say.
Yes, sir.
Now, kind of reverting back to the ball python side of things. You know, you're married, you said, correct?
Yeah.
How long you been married for?
Since 2007. So
congratulations.
Yeah. Almost 16 years. It'll be 16 years in June.
So she's a real one. So 2013,
oh, yeah.
13 years later, you're like, honey, we're about to breed snakes. And we're damn, she's a real one. I want her on the show.
Remixed it.
That's bro. But hey, can we say, here we go. This is just coffee, but I want to say salute to the significant others out there, the wives, the husbands. I can never not give them props. If it wasn't for them, dog, if it wasn't for them, Mike, would this be happening? Let's be real.
Not at all, bro. Not at all. I say it all the time, man.
Let's think about old school generational ways where the wives were just like, not all wives, but husbands too, but very anti, like, you're not going to do this. You're not like, you're going to get a job and do the typical safety thing, right? Like my wife, luckily she believed, even though it was scary at times, she believed in me to do this. And she let me do it. And I'm talking about not only the podcast, but the snakes. And your wife, same thing, married 13 years, bro. and then you do something like this. I like her. What's her name?
Takar.
That's a pretty name, Takar. How and she? I'm assuming high school sweetheart type thing, or when did you meet her?
College.
Okay.
Yeah, undergrad.
Where'd you go to school at, college wise?
At Valdosta State University.
Did you play sports in college or just school, just academics?
Yeah, just academics.
Okay. And I'm curious, what's your what you have a 9 to 5, or you have what's your profession as far as work goes, other than the podcasting and the snakes?
Yeah, so I am a CFO at a foundation at UF.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much? I mean, what are your hours like? I mean, what's a typical day? What's a typical day to day for you? I'm curious.
So it really depends, man, because like as you can imagine, like it's a super busy role, and so like a day to day for me can be like just full of meetings. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'm in and out of Zoom meetings, especially now that like we in the Zoom meetings and whatnot, and we're in this like virtual culture. Day to day for me can be like 6 hours of meetings, 7 hours of meetings. But yeah, I would say I probably work like 50 to 60 hours a week, kind of like depending on what's going on. And a lot of that is just like managing people, which is tough a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my mental state crashed, is when I finally took a job in an industry I had not much experience in. Retail was not really my strong suit. I mean, I sold, like when I worked for Verizon for 10 plus years, but when I took over a management position and had to manage 40 different personalities, bro, which mind you, these people aren't making much money. Like they have no motivation. And that was probably the hardest thing I've ever did in my entire life, bro, because I'm trying my hardest to get these people to do their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, they're not even showing up. And I'm just like,
yeah, managing people, bro, it can be tough. You know what I'm saying? Because like every person, it's just like with the snakes. Everyone is an individual. You know what I'm saying? So you can't manage every single person the same exact way. You got to have a unique approach with every single person. And in order to have like a unique approach with every single person that works, you got to take the time to get to know your people and get to know what makes them tick. What's not going to work with this person? Like you can approach person A and do this, that, and the third, ABC. But if you try to do ABC with the next person, that's not going to work. You got to do X, Y, Z. So you just kind of got to really like, you got to realize that it's not about you. It's really about, at the end of the day, it's about the organization, pushing the organization forward and supporting your people. And you got to be willing to adapt and change and do what it takes to accomplish both of those goals.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, man. I love how you just related managing animals similar to managing people. But the good thing with the animals, it's you just have to show up, right? Which is a good thing, right? But like that's where I learned the work ethic, because like I said, I was a king at shortcuts my entire life, or figure out how I could take a shortcut where it doesn't really hurt me that much. I find loopholes. You know what I mean? Life. You can go your whole life finding loopholes, but man, why? Like there's certain things in life where just go the long route, right? If not all the things, but certain things in life, you just got to go the long route. In the reptile game, the long route is your best friend. If you don't want to breed something so young and so quickly, you're better off, because maturity's on your side of things when it comes to breeding and just being patient. But that's why it's like, it kind of makes the person, as far as their longevity in the game, if all they could think about is what they're trying to breed this year. Because like I said, this year's over, man. This year, you should have thought about this year 2 years ago. It's too late.
My favorite season is always next season.
Yeah, man, because listen, that's really what it is that you're waking up out of bed about. And really, you're focusing on these females that will be ready next year and all this other stuff, right? But like, I don't know, like I just love, like, if somebody like myself who always wants the shortcut and wants to hurry up and get results could come into here and learn patience, anyone can learn patience. That's all I got to say, man, because when you're spending so much time, especially when you have a fucking, like when you're working 50, 60 hours and you're doing the animal stuff, bro, your life is just flying by, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you're so busy. Next thing you know, it's already been 5 years and shit's cracking. And you're like, damn, like it's already here. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, think about 2020. That's 3 years ago.
It was just like that, bro.
3 years ago, 2020, bro. That's nuts to think about that. Right. And shit, that was my very first year breeding. As far as 2019 was. Second year was 2020. 2020 was the best year of my life when it came to snake sales and productions. I made, I only had really nice Kodam hypo shit, and that shit sold for top dollar, bro. I had clown stuff too, but goddamn, I understand how a lot of people were affected selling snakes in 2020, 2021, and then right now, it's not, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers just ain't spending money right now.
Right.
And when people relied on that type of shit, that's why there's a quote unquote scare recession type thing going on. But it's just, dude, it's all it does. You know what I mean?
I feel it's more of a correction. You know what I'm saying? It'll snap back.
A correction. I like, how come no one else said that before? I love that. A correction. I love that. Damn. Now, let me ask
I feel like it'll snap back.
For sure. Let me ask you this. How many clutches have you had so far?
11.
And your first clutch came when?
2021.
2021. And
yeah, I had one clutch that year and 10 this past year.
And I'm assuming it was something you're just like, hey, I want to see what happens and see if they go, and it went, right?
Yep.
Which I always say, if you could do that, if you could pull something off like that, please do. That way you can see if you're able to make that process happen. You just got some people, like I said, man, no disrespect, but like I always try to compare like how some people can't keep plants alive, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie, some plants are really hard to keep alive. So that's an unfair kind of example, but seriously, there are just some people who shouldn't own plants. Same way some people shouldn't own animals if you're not attention to detail. These animals deserve humans who are attention to detail. Am I right? Like these are
100%.
Like I love people who, I mean, I'm sure there's certain levels to documenting things, but like, knowing when ovulation's coming, knowing when just copulations and stuff like that. Like I love that geeky side of things because it's only going to make your ongoing years even easier and easier and easier, because this thing does after a while become systematic. It's like clockwork. Every year a female gets to a point where she shuts off food, you pair them up, and there you go. It's game time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't get systematic if you're not putting in the effort on knowing your animal. Like you got the attention to detail. You feel me on that, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I feel like it almost went too perfect that first year. I mean, obviously with one clutch, it's just one clutch. And so I went 1 for 1, but everything was like perfect, right? So she laid the eggs, incubated them, they hatched, everything was just perfect. 6 for 6 with the eggs hatching. And then the beginning of this previous year's season, everything just went perfect. The first few clutches too, but like probably the last 3 clutches, I want to say like last 3, maybe 4 clutches, I did start having some issues. Like I had some girls slug out. I had one girl slug all the way out. I had one girl pretty much slug out. And then I had one girl who slugged out, but gave us like 1 good egg. So it wasn't technically a slug out, but when I thought it was a good egg, but when I incubated it, it ended up going bad, like right at the end of the incubation period. And I think what happened is I think like some of my temperatures might have not been low enough, you know what I'm saying? Because it get hot in Florida. And I think that led to like some of the male sperm getting killed. And so the eggs weren't getting fertilized. Because I was talking with Ben Cole. I don't know if you know Ben Cole. But like he a dude.
Who's that?
Ben Cole Reptiles or Ben Cole Herps. Yeah. He been doing this since like the 90s. Like old school dude, real old school, real straightforward. But he was saying like, yeah, he's had that issue in the past too, with clutches that come later in the year because like those pairs are happening when it's hotter. And so sometimes the males can get too hot and it can affect their sperm. He said that, and I don't know how true it is, but he been doing it way longer than me. If the female goes through like the whole process and ovulates and produces like eggs or slugs, then biologically she's done everything that she's supposed to do. And so there's an issue with fertilization. And so I believe that's what it was. It was an issue with fertilization. And so I'm gonna keep things a little bit cooler this year, especially, and I'm gonna be especially like monitoring it as it gets like in those hotter months because it get hot in Florida.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, honestly, we don't need to even use that much heat personally throughout the year because how we have it. I'm from SoCal, you're from Florida. So we have it made as far as reptile weathers go for the most part. But, for instance, this time of year, I do have a hot spot. But bro, I've just as much as I discovered not that I discovered weekly water changes are bad, but I gotta say I'm one of the first people to really fucking go in on that, right? I also put together in my mind that why do people have a 90 hotspot for the ball python all the time? Especially people whose ambient is consistently 80 degrees. Like that's, and mind you, like I know, I was somebody who geeked out over Dave Kaufman's ball python movie because for me, I wasn't in the game in the 90s or the early 2000s. This is new content for me. So I was all over it. And I did see how he was temping the top surfaces at like over 100 degrees. Okay. So mind you, they could deal with that hot temperature, but why are they nowhere to be seen? Because they're fucking deep underground. They are trying to stay as cool as possible. Like, and sometimes the coolest they could get is like 90, but does that mean like they prefer that? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it needs to be that warm all the time personally. So my hot spots or warm spots for all my adult ball pythons are like 80, 84, 86. I'll say 87 on the hottest day. But that's it. Like I even when they ovulate, I don't even bump it to 90. And I did that this year. And I don't know. I never really had a problem with slugs because I am more cooler than I am warmer. But it does. Here's one thing, right? I had a big learning experience this year with my chondro clutch. And my chondro, I bumped her. This is before I adjusted everything inside the trap. So my chondro, she ovulated. I bumped her hotspot on the floor to 88. And she went straight to the floor. And dude, that right there probably had a huge effect on, I maybe not, but I'm just guessing right now why the Neos at 8 are no longer here and they prolapsed. That heat has a lot to do with it, bro. I mean, I could be completely wrong. No one, that's the thing about chondros. Nobody knows, right? But it's up to us to kind of put stuff on the whiteboard and start computing what makes sense and what doesn't. And, like I said, man, you could have so many conversations with people, Mike, and nothing will teach you more than experience.
Yeah, 100%.
It's your best teacher, bro. You just got to go through you got to take your licks. Things are, you know what I mean? Like things will slug out. Well, then figure it out. Adjust. You have to adjust. Yeah. What I don't understand is people who don't adjust and they just keep dealing with slugs.
Keep doing the same shit.
Like, bro, hello? Like, wrong? Like, but like I said, I don't know. Like I said, this game isn't for everyone, but just be more on the other end of wanting to pay attention more. If you're on that, just always obsessing, and I'm not saying bothering the snake and messing with it, but just always, when you're breeding, always be looking. Like pay attention to the snake and snakes. And
yeah, you can't just go through emotions. You got to be paying attention and taking shit in.
I'm just telling you, when you're tapped in like that, it just becomes second nature and things become easier. And then as years pass, not that I've been doing this for years, but I mean, shit, my 5th year, I'm just starting to see that things will go if they go, and you'll see the signs. Just look for the signs. That's it.
Yes, sir. You ultrasound?
I don't. Oh man, here's the thing. I'm not against ultrasounding because I had my homie Jacob, Antoine. They've rolled down and helped me ultrasound, and every time they leave, I'm like, oh shit, I get excited because I know what's happening. So ultrasound is an investment right now for me, and I just bought a house and things are happening. So I just don't have that 2-3K that I need to drop on this because I want a specific ultrasound, mind you. I want this ultrasound that's called the Butterfly Ink, and it's just like a handheld thing with a cord that hooks up to your phone. And you could basically, and you can hook it up to a TV, hook it up whatever you want. It's a long ass cord, and it connects to the actual thing where you go on the snake. I don't even know what that device is called, but the probe, right? So, and it's just I don't know. Like my boy Socrates has it. It's very bougie, but I love
that's top of the line, buddy.
I love that. I don't want a big like computer to hunk around. I don't got space for that shit. This shit's in like a little Ziploc bag that's like this big. Like imagine if I travel, if I go to the homies pad, like I'd rather do that. But that's like that's a cool $3K, bro, for that thing. But like I said, I think it's worth it. But anyways, ultrasounds, man. I will say this: if you're in a good place in your life, money's good, get an ultrasound. Because if you could get that shit down right off the bat, man, you won't waste any mails. You won't waste any time. You'll know what's coming, what's not. And I will say right now, go get an ultrasound if you can, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. I've been doing this, like I said, 5 years. And I've never had an ultrasound. I know people who've been doing this 15 years and never had an ultrasound. So you don't need an ultrasound, but why not have one in this day and age? It's cool, you know?
True.
Do you have
Yeah,
one?
it really helped me, like having the ultrasound, because I didn't know, like I knew like the signs that they say look for and stuff like that, but like palpating, like I'm no good at palpating. I still don't feel anything. I try to like feel girls who I know for a fact got follicles building because I saw it on the ultrasound. I try to feel that, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm feeling it or if I'm not, or if I'm just kind of like feeling like their muscles moving or something like that. But it definitely helped me just have peace of mind and know kind of exactly what's going on. So
Palpating sucked, bro. I've never. I felt like right before they about to ovulate, or when they're at like 30 like millimeters or something, then I feel like, oh shit, I feel them. But when they're like tiny, like I have some motherfuckers who could palpate and tell you how much, like what their size is, and I'm like, what? And I just, God bless, if you can handle that shit, then God, that's next level too.
Yeah, that's some next level shit.
Yeah, you know, but like, you know, my biggest thing also why I would love to have an ultrasound at this point is because behind me, I don't have a lot of success breeding what's behind me, which is emerald tree boas and chondros. So I could be pairing at a certain time of the year or doing something that doesn't make sense to that female because she's not ready. And I mean, these females have all been with me for a while, but like, it's just like I said, ball pythons behavior wise, their body, you can see it a lot easier on them than you can on these arboreal snakes. So that's definitely why, because, you know, like I say all I want, and I don't know why God or the snake gods are putting me through this, but all I want more than anything, bro, is success behind me. And I hate to say that because I feel like I'm jinxing myself, but man, this is the toughest road ahead of me, is getting these to where I want to just hold them back. I don't even want to sell this shit. I just want them for myself, and I can't even do that. You know what I mean? But you know, like, but that's why I do it, bro. Like, listen, you keep anything else besides ball pythons or just ball pythons?
So I got carpet pythons and boas as well.
Man, let's go. Thank you. And I'm sure you appreciate those snakes, don't you?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
What a difference in personality, huh?
Oh, 100%. The carpet python is my favorite.
I'm sure.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah. The way it eats, the way it does its thing, like it's not scared of you. I'm sure it's like
nah, it just come right out to you.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, as soon as you open it, like, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
like, what up?
Is it a heavy breather?
Say again.
Does it heavy breathe? Like does it breathe through the nostrils heavy? Like
so my coastal does on occasion.
I love it, man. Yeah, because like I know, so Bolin's pythons, which I know this because I've been around Socrates' Bolin's a lot, but my scrub pythons, they're heavy nostril breathers, and it's like, man, it's especially when they're by your ear and they do it, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, the first time it happened, I was like, what the
Yeah, man. So your boa, you got some boa stuff going on too, though, huh?
Yeah. So I got 5 boas. Ooh. So I got a couple different Morse. Got just like a hypo hit. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, are we gonna drop IMG in this or no?
Yeah, I got IMG.
Oh, bro.
IMG Motley hit call.
So do you know who Dave Levinson is?
Yeah. So
listen, he said this the best on Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. IMG needs to be in every single boa on this earth, bro.
It's dope, bro.
IMG is like the god morph in a boa. You know what I mean?
Just to watch that transformation is crazy.
And then the motley, you know what I mean? Like it's like another thing to just give the IMG even more flex. You know what I mean? Because you know you have these certain genes in the ball python game too, where you just add that one other gene to it, and you're like, but for the most part, it's a recessive. IMG is a codon. You know what I mean? And that's like that's all you need to build a foundation off of. And I'm a big blood guy too, you know. So IMG blood, T positive albino is like my little. That's what I'm trying to mix. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want to get some leopard in there too at some point. I'm a big
nice
leopard, bro. The leopard's just, man, the leopard boa's nuts. You know what I mean?
I seen some crazy stuff.
Let's talk about the boa stuff, man. How's that been compared to the ball python as far as establishing, getting to grow for you? Has that been going pretty well for you?
Yeah, the boas, I mean, it's been relatively easy. I feel like I probably had more challenges with the carpet pythons, or at least one of them, like from the get-go. Just like getting him established and kind of getting him calmed down and stuff like that. Actually, I had two carpet pythons that we had to work to get calmed down. It took some work, which that's just part of it, right? And so like getting them to like be okay with handling and things of that nature. And so like they all calm down now. The male, occasionally he be kind of like a little tweaked out, but the boa has been fairly simple. Like I've been fortunate with it. Like with the boas, like they've been like puppy dog tame, fairly simple upkeep, relatively speaking. I was gonna try to breed boas, but I don't think I'm gonna breed boas, at least not anytime soon. So I'm not in a hurry to breed any kind of boas. I'm really not gonna breed anything other than the ball pythons anytime soon. And so it's just more like a keeping experience.
I'm gonna tell you, man, you for sure at some point when you're ready, breed boas, because when you see that female shit out those live babies, it's like a fucking scene out of Alien, bro. It's like, what the fuck? And it's kind of like, I don't, did you hear the story I had last night on the podcast about the parasites that I experienced? Did you hear what I talked about that?
No, what happened?
Oh my God. So, I will say real quick, but back when I first started importing chondros, and, my buddy at the time, he was getting so much shit in, and he's like, MJ, I'm just going to send this straight to you. So like, he didn't keep it in. Like, it was straight from Indo, straight from the fucking wild or wherever it was coming from to my house. But then he was like, hey, I treat all my shit for parasites, and I need to give you like, I'm going to hook you up with medicine, and you need to start doing this. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so this female that's still here today, had her for a year. And then one day I come in, haven't fed her for like 2 weeks. So I know there was no meal or anything, but I walk into the room and I just see something moving on the floor of her tub. And I'm like, is that a rat? What the fuck is that? I go get the tub, I open it. It's these long parasites that are moving, bro. Like,
oh man.
Dog, it was the scariest thing. I can't believe I have to talk about this again. God damn it. But it was like, bro, I was like, what the fuck is this? I ran out of the room, very upset. But then my buddy he was like, holy shit, I've never seen that before. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is this, bro? Like,
that's wild. How big was it? How big?
There was like 6 or 7 of them, and they were just long, and they were all moving. It was like, dude, it was fucking nuts. So I thought the female was like, am I gonna have to put her down? What's happening? So I went straight to like, because back then my quarantine was like 3 to 6 months. Just if it looked good, ate good, all that, I didn't care. I thought it was cool. So I panicked, put this thing in the washroom by itself, thinking this thing's gonna die after what I just saw. And no, like what was in it, it just, I guess it shit it out. And after that, nothing. I trust me, I was trying to watch. I wanted her to shit really bad again. And I was like, bro, and like it was so shocking. I didn't even think to record it. I didn't want nobody to even know. I was like, because this is like 2017 or something, 2018. And so I thought like, oh my God, if people find out this, I'm doomed. Like, and I don't know if this is like something that's going to kill all my animals, bro. It was a shocker. Okay.
Wow.
Let me just say that.
Did you have to treat her with anything?
I treated her again. Oh, for sure. So even though I had already treated her, I definitely hit her with another dose of Panicure. And Panicure is just, it's a type of dewormer. And, she ate like, her next meal, she ate. And I was like I said, I woke up every morning waiting for her to be rolled out or looking for more fucking creatures. But no, she fucking bounced. Like, I mean, I don't even want to say she was down. She just shitted all that out. I saw it and I fucking freaked out. But bro, she's right here. She's flawless, still here, doing great.
Nice,
man. But anyways, what were we talking about before I went this whole rabbit hole on parasites?
Boas.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So as far as like the live litters, bro, that right there is such a rewarding feeling. Because I mean, come on, let's all admit that first ball python clutch, you'll never forget that. Like seeing that snake on eggs, what a time. Seeing them pip, or mind you, if you cut the shit out of them like I do, what a time. Seeing them come out, it's like, but it's like so many steps before you see the final product of a ball python. The boas, right. They come out. They just come out ready to rock and roll. I mean, I think I got 16 live and about 8 or 9 slugs, right? But these fucking things came out smashing food, bro. Like,
Oh, nice.
it was such a good experience, Mike. So listen, I got to say also too, I was in no rush. The female that did this for me was 6 years old. So she was well in age. She ate, she wasn't obese. Because another thing too, dude, people overfeed their boas. People like,
Yeah, they be fat as hell.
They can't be, because they digest very, very slowly. So you could feed them big meals, but not so much. Like, it has to be like, periodically. And I my females eat once a month now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I got to tell you, man, just definitely, I love that. Obviously the boas are they do something for you, right? Like, that's why you got them. And that's why I have them. But that's why I feel like people need to just dabble more than just the ball pythons, bro. Like,
yeah, you got to
get your hands in it just a little bit. Like, you ain't got to breed it, but get
Exactly.
your hands in it. And it would just bring a balance into your life that will make you appreciate even working with the ball python still.
Yeah, 100%.
When you got something that wants to tear your face off all the time, and then you're like, man, fuck this. I'm going to go to the ball pythons and just admire it. I'm going to admire as what Donnie calls them Pokemon cards. You know what I mean? Bro, I got to admit, as much as people who, if you get offended by this, I'm not sorry, but Pokemon cards, like, that is the best way to describe these ball pythons, bro. Like, they're straight. It's a fucking card that you have to keep mint, and you either trade or you buy. That's what it comes down to. I mean, I don't know. It's just
that's an interesting twist on it.
It really is, because you understand that these cards go for so much money. These ball pythons go for so much money. Mind you, I'd much rather be in the ball python game than the Pokemon card game, right? But really, are we buying the ball python for its personality? No. We're buying it because what it looks like. That's what I'm saying. Anybody in this game, like let's talk about your boy Justin, who was just in the building, Armless Angels. I guarantee when he inquires a snake from Justin, Miguel, or whoever he inquires a snake from, I'm just throwing names out there. I guarantee one of his questions is it aggressive? Does it bite? Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
You drop a price.
But you do get those questions though.
No, but not from Justin.
Oh yeah, not from Justin.
Not from me, not from you, respectfully, because who gives a fuck if it's an aggressive ball python? It ain't gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Now, I do know that there's people out there who get them for their kids, and that makes sense, right? But if you're a breeder asking if this ball python is aggressive, what the fuck? Maybe you should just keep ball python. But also, too, like, people look at the Pokemon game as something they want to look at, but the people who are in that game take that game very seriously, and they love it. So, and that's nothing to take away from the ball python game. The ball python game is a designer world. It's something where you got to be tapped in to understand why that costs so much. And if you don't, exactly. And if you don't, then you don't. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know how many people, like my own people who used to kind of make fun of me for being in the ball python game and just did chondros, they'll come to me in AMJ like, what does that snake cost? And I'll tell them, like, they'll send me a Miguel snake, or like something that Miguel posts, right? And like, what do you think that costs? And I'm like, if he sells it, probably like 40, 50K. Why? I'm like, okay, this is why you're not in the game. And this is, you know what I mean? Like, I can't tell you why if you're not in. Like, I first and foremost, I don't have time to sit here and explain to you. Like, you either get it or you don't. That's it.
There's so much that goes into the why.
It's so much. And I'm sorry, pal, but you should have just jumped in. That's what it comes down to. You just got to get in, man. And but like I said, the ball python game can look easy to some people. It really can. Some people go, oh man, you guys just sell a snake for 10, 15, 20K. No. Okay, people who are selling those snakes for the most part have been establishing a name or have been building a following to where once that snake's available, he has people in the market for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rare that you find a no name fucking, I have 100 followers and I have a Pompeii for sale. You don't see those. Come on, let's be real. Like, you might see those people at shows, but even then, like, even just going to show doesn't guarantee you're going to sell snake. Like, I recently thought about how much it's important as the vendor to build up on their social media platforms that they're going to be at the show. They need to start rallying up, let people know, are you going to be at the show? Are you going to be at the show? Like, that whole week of the show, you should be promoting every fucking day on your Instagram. Like, I feel like, because you got to build that up. And the next thing you know, you're going to have people asking you ahead of time, what are you going to be bringing? Or you could be making sales before the show even happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You got to promote it. Like, that's just a huge part of like any business, and this business is no different. You got to promote it. You got to like drum up some excitement. The other thing too that like people don't understand, like from the outside looking in, about it, whether or not it's easy or whether or not it's hard too, is depending on the size collection you got. Like it's a lot of work that goes into it, right? It's not just like,
I mean, you're putting 50, 60 hours too on top of that, bro. Like,
yeah, and balancing all this stuff, and then doing social media too, and like running a show. Like, it's a lot of work that goes into all of it.
It could go from fun to not fun very quick. Okay, and that's if you're not managing what's on your plate sustainable, where you can be consistent. Like, don't do too much where you can't be consistent. Because you should do back when I worked at, so that job that I had to manage about 40 people was a general manager job at Office Depot. Okay. And mind you, COVID, I lost the gym job. I think I was scared because I had all these animals and I knew I wasn't ready at that time to just be a breeder. Hell no, not even close. So I was like, I need a job. Like, and I didn't know this was going to be the worst job of my life, but I didn't give a, you know what I mean? But really, bro, like, that's the last. And also, I got to tell you, I also got to admit that once I became friends with this importer homie, I just was getting whatever the fuck I wanted. And man, I was able to sell certain things to get other things that I wanted. And next thing you know, I had over 15 species of different boegas and pythons and shit. And I was just like,
that's a lot of fucking work too.
I was not having fun, bro. Like, because like I had things escaping, like I had things like not doing well. And then there would be times where like, there's a whole rack that I completely like forgot that I needed to do after yesterday's cleaning. And like, I was like, dude, this is not fun. And I'm glad there was moments where I broke down and like, dude, you can't do like this. You're not that guy. Like, stop trying to be fucking these people who've been doing this shit for 15, 20 years. Like, you are just now getting into this. But the thing is, I just wanted it, bro. Like, the fact that I could get these animals, I wanted it, but I did not want to neglect these animals. And that's when I found out it wasn't fun, then I figured if it's not fun for me, these animals aren't having fun. That's for damn sure. You know what I mean? So, I had to switch up. I remember that's, and then my wife had that talk with me too, because, she was like, listen, you're kind of, these snakes are getting out quite a bit, first and foremost. She's like, she's like, I could kind of hear you like kind of yelling in the room. Like, I think you should like maybe dial down just a bit. And then that's when I started walking into my room and like looking at things. I'm like, what is it that I'm not really crazy about? Like, what is it in here that I don't know, that I want to see the least, I guess. And it's sad to say, but I had over like 5-6 species of snakes that really were just kind of impulse buys. But the thing was, I had enough homies at that time that would love to take those species on. And so, it made me happy to put these snakes in people's hands where I should have that energy. Like, you know what I mean? But like I said, I had so much going on where I'm now at the point where I have everything in my little, there's, if anything, I could add maybe 1 or 2 things. Shut up, MJ. Don't say that. But I'm just saying, like, I just, you know what I mean? I want to keep it fun, Mike. This game deserves to be played having fun. And if you're not
100%,
if you're not having fun, the animals aren't having fun. You got to understand that.
100%. I had to slow my roll, right? I had to slow my roll in a lot of different ways, like picking up different species. And that's why I capped it at where we at. Like, I'm not getting no new species. And then also like having plans to breed like all these species. Well, for right now, based on like life circumstances right now, I know I can only focus on one species to breed it. So we're going to focus on the ball python because that's where we like most heavily invested at. And that's kind of how it all started. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason we start doing what we do was around the ball pythons. So we're just going to focus on that. And then the other thing that I did early on in the game was I was just acquiring animals for the hell of acquiring animals because I thought it looked cool, you know what I mean? But it really didn't have a place in any projects that I was trying to do. And I just was like haphazardly buying ball pythons because it looked cool, or I felt like it was a deal, or maybe somebody was getting rid of a collection or getting rid of a group and stuff like that. And so here, probably I would say like over the last 6 to 9 months, we really been selling a lot of those snakes out of the collection and really refining the collection. And now we got like a few that I'll probably be selling like in the near future. But by and large, like every snake in the collection right now is something that's focused on one of the projects that we're trying to work on, right? And just had to slow my roll. And the other thing too that was kind of happening at the same time is like I was getting busier and busier at work as I was moving up and get more responsibilities, right? And so like that, those balancing beams or whatever you want to call it, that triple beam just start balancing different, right? And so I had to adjust, you know what I'm saying, on all sides. And so it's just, that's why I say, man, it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? You don't gotta like try to rush to the finish line. Like you say, it's got to be fun, right? And you got to take your time. You want to learn. You want to do the best you can possibly do. And so you can't just like be a bull in the china shop and just like rush in it. And because you're gonna fuck stuff up. You're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna get tired of it, and it's not gonna be fun. If it's not fun, you're gonna hang it up.
The burning out thing is real, bro. Like I didn't, you know, shit. And one of my closest friends who are no longer with us, rest in peace, Forrest Fanning. Like I didn't realize how burnt out he was, and that he was my influence. Like I would see shit how he would keep it, and I'm like, I could get away with keeping it like that, and I would just do it, and I would maximize. Basically, I was like a mini Forrest, and I was just maximizing. And honestly, like let's be real, man. Like this is the kind of new keeper I was. My very first year, or my very first rack. I don't even want to like. This is when before I even thought I wanted to be a breeder, I found out about a snake rack, right? And I remember it had 8 slots, okay? And I only had 4 snakes. You want to know what bugged the shit out of me? Those 4 empty slots. So I was like, I need to fill those. I don't give a fuck. And that's when I just started looking on Craigslist, like wherever. But I did realize that you could get these on deals. Like, you know, I would notice certain snakes at pet shops, like $400, $500, $600, like Mojave, back in the day, like Mojave, or like super bells and stuff like that. And I was like, what? I was like, these are expensive. But then you'd go on Craigslist and every now and then you'd find a good deal. And so I filled my rack up just because I wanted to fill it. Like I wanted to walk in and see 8 snakes. That's it. Yeah. But like I said, like that's like the start of a lot of people, man. They just need that. They just love it. And I loved having that many animals. Like I want, like, all I could tell myself is I want more. But because, bro, the way it made me feel, Mike, like I would go in, spend about 3 hours in there on 4 snakes, just taking one out, messing with it. You know what I mean? And then taking the next one out, messing with it. You know what I mean? And just being in that brand new mindset of just like, look how beautiful this ball python is. Like bananas, bro. I'll never forget owning my first banana. Yeah. Or even, dude, I shit on this quite a bit only because I feel like it's not going anywhere, and I could be wrong, but the albino gene, right? When I got my first albino, bro, it had so much yellow in it, and I was like, dude, this thing is, and the red eyes on an albino, like, how can you ever forget an albino? You know what I mean? And so, and then my first pied, bro.
Oh, like, man, pied was mind-blowing the first time I saw it, bro.
These are snakes I'll never forget, bro. Like, I'll never forget, like, and I have pictures of these snakes, like, from 2016, of first buying them and just admiring them. So, it could go easy from spending 3 hours. Well, because first and foremost, the more snakes, more problems. The more snakes you get, the more chores. So we don't we ain't got all day to sit fucking here for 1 hour per snake. You know what I mean? So, but like also remember and spend time like you did when you first started. And I even like, you know, as much as I like to do that in this room, every now and again, I gotta remind myself, like, dude, go pull out your favorite ball python and go fuck with it. Don't forget. You know what I mean? And because we get caught up into the things, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just need that ground-breaking moment to just get back to ground zero, bro. And yeah, this is why I'll never get rid of the ball pythons, man. I don't care. They're my foundation. They're my heart. I'll never let go of them. And that's just the way it goes. Yeah, sometimes I just come in here and sit, bro. Like I'll turn this chair around and sit and just look at the racks and just think about which one I want to mess with. It's a happy place, right? Like I just come in here. I work in here, like on this side of the room, like I got like my work set up, and then on that side I got like all the reptile stuff. But like I'll come in here, turn away from the work stuff, and just sit and think and just like really just kind of take it all in. My boy, man, shout out to Will Moros, Royal Canadian Reptiles. Also somebody you could catch at like Tinley's and stuff like that. Like Will, man, what a fucking guy, man. Yeah, real cool as fuck. I used to, you know, me and Will back in the, you know, when me and Will first became homies, you know, one thing I love about Will is like every time I would call him, he would, you know, you'd pick up for me and you'd pick up the phone. And I know Will's a busy guy. He's a mentor to a lot of people, but every time I would talk to this guy, he would be sitting on a lawn chair drinking a Bud Light in front of his racks, just sitting there. And I'm like, what's good, Will? Just right here, sitting on, on lawn chair, drinking a Bud Light, looking at like, damn, bro, like, and think about someone who's been doing it as long as Will. That's what he does, bro. He just sits there and manifests and just because he knows what he has and he loves it. You know what I mean? So you always just gotta like keep that in you, keep that fire. You know what I mean? And then I think if you do that, it's always gonna be fun. I feel like.
Yeah, it's a good exercise to just sit in the room and just think about what you got and where you can take that. Like what haven't I thought of? You know what I'm saying? Like it's been times I thought about like pairings and like potential directions with a project that I hadn't been thinking of. But once you just kind of slow down, take it all in and just really like focus on it, like it's amazing what you can think of.
How many ball pythons you got right now?
With the hatchlings, probably just under 90 because we sold quite a bit.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So about 90. What works for you? Live feeding or frozen thawed? What's currently happening? Or you do a little bit of both? What works for you?
We do live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what have you seen as far as the kind? Because here's the thing: I feel like a lot of people, first and foremost, have a tough time finding out what works for them as far as getting a hatchling to eat for the first time, right? I mean, I have no problem if I just do live hoppers or something live. Like they for the most part, they always eat. If the heat's right, everything's right, the ball python's gonna fucking eat. And if it doesn't eat that week, it's gonna eat the next week. It's not the end of the world, right? But what have you seen that you do to kind of notice that it's important with the snake's growth? And what I mean by that is it like keeping them in smaller enclosures or tubs, or is it feeding them a certain prey? What do you feel like is important for a hatchling's growth in the beginning stage of its life that you in your experience so far?
So what I do, like with my hatchlings, like at first I used to like try to feed them like probably like a week after they had their first shed, but I wasn't having like the greatest success rate, like getting them to eat early on. And so I started waiting a little bit longer. So I don't feed like the next time I do feedings after they shed, like I wait like to like that second time after. And so it ended up being probably like 10, 12, something days like that after that first shed. And I generally have more like success with them eating like that. Occasionally you have some problem feeders and you try to feed them on, but like once you like just get to feeding them on a regular basis, then I haven't had like any issues with growth. I'll feed like younger ones more often than I'll feed older ones. With the older ones, I tend to take like at least 1 week off per month, but with the younger ones, I feed them on a weekly basis. And I don't feed like huge meals. Like I don't like for them to have like this big football lump in them. I like for them to have like a nice, decently sized lump. And I just feed them more regularly, right? And so I try not to overfeed. I don't overfeed. And I just feed them like reasonably sized meals, and I generally have like pretty good growth. Some of them grow at different rates because they individuals. Like for example, I got two females that's clutch mates, and they both eat the same day on the same schedule, but one of them like 300, 400 grams bigger than the other one, and they eat basically the same kind of prey, but she just grow way more, and they even clutch mates too, so they genetically similar. And so like I said, just feeding them every week on a regular basis with a decently sized meal works for me.
Yeah. One thing I also paid attention to that I was kind of doing that maybe had an effect on their growth or sometimes even their feeding is bumping them up in a tub size too big, too quick. Because I noticed that first and foremost, they do better in a smaller tub when they're first born, right? Because that rat doesn't have, or whatever that you're feeding, it doesn't have much room to hide. It's right there where it could see it. But I've even had Justin, right, from Canova, who's taken bigger females out of a bigger tub and downgraded their tub just because they either went off food or they stopped growing at the rate that they were growing. And it's crazy how like the tub size could have an effect on that. I mean, and maybe it doesn't, but I got to admit that I had a female that I bumped up to tub size, and I can't remember if she shut off food, but there was something. I was like, she wasn't growing. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was weird. And so I put her back into the smaller tub, and I noticed her growth was kind of getting bigger, but then after a few weeks, I noticed, I was like, okay, shit, now she's really growing because look how big she is. Now, mind you, it could have just been the timing too. I just don't know, but I do know that.
And she was eating the same in both tubs?
She was, I would say that she was more turned on in the smaller one. Like she was, like, see, here's the thing. I mostly do frozen thawed when it comes to feeding my animals, right? But I also have access to live, and I get live no problems. I have some females that will smash whatever the fuck you offer it, right? But this female was one of those females that would smash whatever I offered it, but when I put it in the bigger tub, it didn't want nothing to do with frozen thawed. And it kind of, it just changed the demeanor a little bit. But then after a couple weeks back in the smaller tub, it went back to just being fucking just a terror. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, but it's also could be personalities too. Like some snakes don't adjust all the same. Some snakes not always want space. I do know even with retics, right? A retic that's young, about a year and younger, they do better in a more confined area than open space. Not that they can't handle open space, but they just, from what I've seen and talked to a lot of experienced retic keepers, they keep them all in like 16 quart tubs for the first year of their life. And then, mind you, after that, they can put them in wherever the fuck they want to put it in. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Like when I move them up, sometimes I've had issues with them eating in the new tub. And I'll do like one of two things. I either move them back to the old tub. Like every time I move them to a new tub, I always do it like right after they shed. And I'm hoping they're gonna be like real hungry when they're in that new tub. And so like I'll feed them. But like I do one or two things. Either move them back to the old tub, and sometimes I put like a hide or two in like a new one. Like I got a couple snakes over there in the ARS rack where they got like just some hides. And really they too big for the hide, to be honest. But they like it and they eat when it's in there. But when it's not in there, they don't eat it. And so like I just wait, and then like every now and then like I'll try to take it out and then see if they'll eat. And once they start eating like on a consistent basis without the hide, then I'll pull the hide out if I don't want to move them back to the old tub. It just kind of like really depend on like what I got available, like tub wise and stuff like that, and kind of how I work that.
So if we could kind of like speed things up as far as like, you know, let's kind of talk future talk here. Where do you see yourself going besides ball pythons? I mean, at some point, do you feel like the boa game could be something in your future? Or do you feel like if it is, it's going to be like, I'll try it, but that's it. But do you ever see yourself getting as serious with other species as you do with the ball pythons currently?
Not as far as breeding, at least right now, right? And I'm basing that off of like current circumstance. I mean, you never know like where stuff will go in the future, like when things change, but like based on like my schedule and stuff like that, right now I'm just strictly focused on the ball pythons. I'm gonna continue to keep bulls, I'm gonna continue to keep carpet pythons, but as far as like breeding and whatnot, I think I'm gonna just chill for now at least. Yeah. Maybe one day, but you never know.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like things,
there's no rush, right?
Things could rush, but it's better to add than to subtract. You know what I mean? And like, man, it's I love that. You just, because I feel like also you're kind of enjoying where you're at right now. I feel like I mean, goddamn, your wife of 15 plus years, I'm just about more than that. Yeah, 16 years.
Yeah.
She's cool with you having snakes. She ain't
right.
gonna be cool with it.
Yeah, right. Like she cool with having snakes. She help out with it. You know what I'm saying? Like we be in here every week cleaning up and stuff like that. She's supportive. She's supportive of the investments, like all of that. And so like it's great, man. So I'm very blessed in that regard.
How do you go about your ball python purchases? And what I mean by that, like, do you have I mean, obviously you got your boy Justin, you might have some people, your go-to people, but like, let's just say if you want to branch out, like how would you branch out? Like what's your research all about when it comes to wanting to buy a ball python off a breeder that you've never bought off of?
That I never bought off of? I really kind of check out a lot of things, right? I'll ask around. And so if people know them or if people don't know them, I'll ask around and kind of get like general feedback in that space. I'll look at their social medias and stuff like that. For me, that goes a long way. I know a lot of people not on social media, but for me, being on social media and being willing to put yourself out there, to me, that says a lot about like what you think about yourself, what you think about your brand and stuff like that. And so I'll look at that. I'll ask questions, right? If I don't feel comfortable at the end of the day, I'm not going to purchase it. And so it's just really kind of a gut feeling in terms of like dealing with new breeders who I haven't dealt with before. Definitely look at like pairings and stuff that they do, and just like the quality of their genetics and just stuff like that.
do you feel sometimes awkward, or I don't know if you've ever felt like in this position where like you want more pictures and videos and you feel like you don't want to ask, or do you feel like you don't care, you always ask for pics and videos?
It depends. Like if I see like a bunch of stuff on your social media and stuff like that, and you got some pretty good pictures on Morph Market and all that, then I don't feel the need to like just like ask you for like a ton of pictures. It just really kind of depends on the quality of the picture. If I can't really see it on the Morph Market, chances are I probably wouldn't even ask about it in the first place if I can't really like see it like in the Morph Market or wherever I'm making the inquiry at, if it's like a bad picture. But if it's a decent picture, I can see that you are working with some good stuff, or if I hear good things about you, then I don't really like bug people for a bunch of pictures. That's just me personally.
Right. Well,
I get asked for pictures all the time though.
And you know, listen, I don't at the end of the day, like I definitely there was a point in time where I still have it on my phone, but I started making a window shopper list, and and like I was starting to make a list of people who would just ask me questions and never buy. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking sick of these people, bro. But I don't know. That was like beginner MJ. Like that was like the first couple years, and honestly, sales were so good where I just felt like, well, fuck these people, you know. But you know, you can't do that. Like you at the end of the day, it is kind of our job to provide information if there's a sale involved, right? Just like you go to a store, or if you go somewhere, you have to provide information to the customer, right?
And I try to go like above and beyond what somebody would expect, because I understand that if you've never heard of me, or if you never heard of like whoever you inquiring from, then I can understand like there being some nervousness. You worried about like somebody might try to take advantage of you. I mean, it's like a million different things that can happen. And so like I understand that. So I try to go above and beyond. I come from like a customer service background, so I always like apply that to like what I'm doing with Herp collectors. And like, for example, somebody asks for a picture, I might send them a picture, or if I can, I might send them like a quick little, you know what I'm saying, like 7-second video and say, hey, and then like I'll call their name in the actual video, because like I feel like if you hear me call your name in the video, then you know this ain't a video that I got from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tailored to you. And so I'll do that on occasion. I'll drop like a link to my stuff in there, or even give them my number, say, hey, if you want to chat, just hit me up. You know what I'm saying? And I just try to do things because I realize that a lot of people, when they first ask, they interested in the snake, but there is some trepidation if they don't know you, because they're nervous and they don't want to get like scammed and stuff like that. So I just try to do things that I feel like would make them feel less like they're getting scammed and feel more comfortable, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It is what it is. You're not going to sell something to everybody you come in contact with. I mean, it don't work like that in any industry. I mean, even like going inside the store, you know what I'm saying? People go inside the store and browse all the time. They don't necessarily walk out and they don't necessarily buy something every time they come in. They might walk, look, see what they like, ask a few questions, but end up not purchasing at the time. But I just try to make like every touch with me a good representation of the brand and a good customer service touch.
And also too, that's kind of what separates you from anyone else who isn't on that tip. You know what I mean? Like think about how much easier it is for someone to buy from a breeder who's giving them the information that they asked for. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just in your best bet. You know what I mean? And so the thing is, it's just, you just got to accept it for what it is. And, you know, like you said, people who are so fucking up to here with their chores and their work and like, yeah, you know, I want to sell this $3,000 animal, but this guy keeps asking for fucking videos, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, it's $3,000, or it's like, you know, even a $500 animal, it's $500 for a snake. Okay. Like, fuck it. All right, here's your video. And if he ghosts you, he ghosts you. Like, what, you know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is, you know, but it's a part of the nature. Like, you just can't take it personal. It's just like, sometimes it's hard, you know what I mean? But
right. Yeah. It's definitely hard. It's definitely challenging, especially like when you get all the way to the end, then they ask the price and then they left you on red.
Bro, you know what's crazy? Oh man, how about this? How about they will you go when they say, will you go here? Like, will you do it for this price shipped? You say yes, and then they disappear. Sometimes people will ask me a price and like it would be so like, it'll be such an undercut price, and I'll just say yes, because I know they still won't do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, you are like, God, you're just here to waste my time, aren't you? Like I just feel like in that Morph Market, God damn, Morph Market is where That's Tire Kicker City, man. I don't have much on Instagram. Like Instagram, it's not. It does happen on IG, but Morph Market, bro. I feel like they're up. They can't sleep. I'm gonna shoot a message. Why not? Hopefully he sends back. I feel like they're looking for a conversation or something. I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh my god, man. What are the foundation projects for you in Ball Python game? Like, what are the things you're holding 10 toes down on right now as far as recessive projects or codon projects right now?
Yeah, so Clown, Desert Ghost, Hypo, Ultra Male, and a little bit of Pot.
You said Ultra Male.
Yes, sir.
You seen some of the Monarch stuff that Justin's come out with, my boy?
Man, it's been dope. It's been dope. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I can't even lie.
What does that do to you though? Like, do you feel like you want to dabble into Monarch, or are you still like, are you like Team Ultra Male? And I know Ultra Male is still slept on certain aspects, and it's still going to be just as good. What's your take on the Ultra Male Monarch as far as what's better or what's? I mean, and you just keep it 100 on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. We go back and forth in the chats all the time. Like me and Jaffe, like we firmly like Team Ultra Male, and then like Matt and Justin, they be giving us a hard time because they be hollering Team Monarch. But to be honest, bro, I like them both. I'm gonna stick with Ultra Male because that's where I'm at with it, and I do feel like it's a lot of stuff yet to be done with it, especially in the Ultra Clown project. I do want to get DG in there and see what that does, but like I really like how the dark morphs work with Ultra Male, and I just think it's a lot of stuff to do in the Ultra Clown project once you start throwing in like darker morphs and putting pattern changers on top of that. I think it's going to be like the source of some really dope animals. So I'm gonna keep rocking with Ultra Male. I do see the Monarch stuff, especially like that last stuff that Justin showed. I do like it. I'm not gonna lie. Like it does look nice, but I'm gonna stick with Ultra Male.
And you got to stick to what you feel is right for your project. You can't just be jumping ship on stuff that you've been loyal to. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why, like, I do appreciate anyone who's Team Ultra Male or Team Monarch, because that's root for your own shit. You should root for your own shit. That's what you got.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Don't be bandwagon.
Yeah, don't exactly, and don't be on. And listen, if you don't have either or, don't be saying shit either. Okay, like you know, you better have. If you're on this team, Ultra Male or Monarch, you better have one or the other in your goddamn collection to be repping it. You know what I mean? But I gotta say, man, yeah, I don't know, man. Ultra Male, I don't think there's gonna ever be anything to put shame to Ultra Male, because Ultra Male is just its own thing. Like Ultra Male is just it is,
bro.
It's fire. But then again, the Monarch too. I'm glad that this shit's happening with Justin and his Monarch projects, because people are here to see that they are different. They're their own thing. You know what I mean? And what's really going to be the true test is once we start tapping into these triple recessives with Ultra Male or Monarch, go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be done in both those projects. So shout out to everybody working both those projects. But
for real,
I'm definitely going to stay with Team Ultra Male.
You ain't going. Hey, yeah, shout out to everyone working with both project, but fuck that shit. Team Ultra Male till I die.
You, baby.
What are we looking at this year clutch wise? Best case scenario. Everything goes your way this year. How many clutches are you looking to hit?
15, 16 tops.
Perfect.
Yeah, tops.
And where we at as far as holdback game? I mean, are we looking to hold back as many as we can? Maybe just one at it. You're like, what is a game plan as far as the holdbacks for Big Mike in this?
Yeah, so I'm really gonna hold back like the top of the clutches, right? Everything else I'm gonna just sell and use that money to invest in other stuff, business wise. Because like right now, I need stuff for shows. I need a new ARS rack, and so my game plan is hold back like the best of the best stuff that I hatch, sell everything else, and then use that money to reinvest into the business.
I love it, because
so I'm not gonna be holding back everything. Like at first, when I first started, I thought my game plan I was gonna hold back every female, but like that can add up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And so I'm not gonna take that route. I'm gonna just hold back the best of the best of the best.
You know, it's funny, like, you know, nothing wrong with holding shit back, but if we want to talk about people who are like the king of holdbacks, we're going to talk about Will Morrows again, right? But think about what Will has in his hands. He has puzzle. He has shit that is like he knows what he has, and he knows nobody else has it. So you have to hold that back. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you get to that point in your career, well, then, okay, that makes sense.
That's different. Yeah.
That's different, right? But I mean, I'm sure there's other clutches where, you know, I'm not that Will doesn't give a fuck about holdbacks, but there are probably other projects where Will's like, I could sell this and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Like Will, I could be wrong too, because like I said, I've been to Will's collection and I've never seen so many like limited, but high quality morphs. Like, and like he works with what he works with, but it's the best. It's like the most, dude, it's like visiting a steakhouse and like, you're just like, you just know, holy shit, this is what they're legendary for. And man, that's Will Morrows, bro. That fool, he's king of Canada right there, dog. Hands down, you know, take it for what it
Will
is.
got some dope stuff.
Ain't nobody fucking with Will out of Canada. I'm telling you right now. But you know, also Will has some other little fucking he has some little mini-me's that he's been raising up. You know what I mean? Like Will is building a goddamn army of motherfuckers in Canada who's just coming with the heat. You know what I mean?
RCR Mafia.
I'm telling you, dog. Shout out to Will Morrows. Where's he at? Come through, Will. I know you're gonna come. But, like, I love this. Every time I really start reaching around Will, he'll pop in. Like that's how I know he listens. You know what I mean? Somebody message Will. I'm just kidding. All right. So I got a little bit of I don't know. It's pretty juicy, I should say. But let's talk about the standard behind a bill of health for an animal. That's, listen, I feel like any animal should have a bill of health, right? But if we're talking about a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 animal and the person asks you for a NITO test, are you cool with providing that, or where do you stand with that?
So to be honest, I hadn't put a ton of thought to it. I've never personally asked somebody to test the animal. I have tested a couple animals that I brought in. It was one that I was a little worried about because I hadn't heard of the guy and the price just really seemed too good to be true. And so like I was really concerned about it. So like I tested that one and then I tested the next one that I got into just to kind of go through the process too, just to have a little bit of peace of mind. In terms of like, if somebody asked me to test it, I don't know, bro, because like,
right.
If I test it, like, are you gonna buy it? Like, if you're gonna buy it, then that's different. You know?
No.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like meaning, like they're like I'm gonna send you the money. Like meaning they're even willing to pay for it, right? They just
I'll test it. Yeah.
Because that'll make sense. I ain't gonna motherfucker, give me the money first and then I'll test it. You know what I mean? Don't waste my time. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, people who are like willing to even pay for it, because like a lot of people in the chondro game, like my boy Socrates, if he has a snake if you have a snake that he really wants, he'll say, hey, listen, I'll pay for it, I'll send you the kit, can you just please test this snake? I just want to make sure it's good. And you know, I don't know, you can't really be mad at that, right? It's like,
I do that 100%, bro.
Right. And I just feel like that's kind of, I don't want to say it's gonna be the normal thing for the ball python game, but I feel like it could lead to that. Like, you never know.
Yeah, like when you put it like that, then yeah, I do it 100%. I thought you meant at first like I come out of my pocket to test it, and then you leave me on red once I show you that it's negative. It came back negative, because I mean that can add up real quick. But if they're gonna pay for it themselves, then yeah, I don't have no problems doing that, bro.
That's when Herp Collector becomes a podcast where he calls you out. You know what I mean?
That'd be a whole segment. Like,
hey, motherfucker, I paid for this test and you left me on scene.
Yeah, man, it'll be a whole segment. Screenshots and everything. Don't sell to him. Yeah, don't sell to her.
You'll fuck, God damn it. Unbelievable. But you know, listen, at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, man, because I just had a podcast with Kayla Jube. Okay, shout out to Kayla, sweetheart. You know, she's an awesome girl. But like, she, with her experience with NITO, like she obviously went to go talk to other big breeders. Okay, and a lot of these bigger breeders who've been around for a long time, like Will, Justin, Bob Vu, just to name a few, they intermittent test. Like they'll just test randomly, and that's like, if you have a collection of that size and if you're selling that many animals, I feel like having a protocol like random testing every year is kind of crucial. Don't you think? Like think about
that makes sense.
Mike, imagine if you had 200 clutches every year. Like, Like, isn't it especially, and you're being accused of selling a snake that is sick. Well, how do you not test after that? You know what I mean? Like that should be like, first and foremost, it's your brand. How would you want to have years in this game and then you're going out selling sick snakes? Like, oh man, I'm just saying this shit could be avoided if you just take care of it right off the bat. But people just don't want to, bro. Like it's kind of the old mentality of things where they're, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I would do it, me personally. Again, especially they're gonna pay for it, I would do it. At the end of the day, if I learned that there's an issue, then now I know that there's an issue. And now that I know that there's an issue, I can do something about the issue, whatever that something has to be. But I should work to rectify that issue, right, before it gets out of hand and just gets even worse. So I wouldn't have no issues doing that at all.
Thing is, bro, this ignored issues do get out of hand at some point. And that's
100%.
You think you're riding this wave of just kind of getting away with shit. And this kind of goes back to shortcuts in the animals. They don't work out, bro. Shortcuts in these animals, they don't work out. Things will arise. Things will come to the surface. And I don't know, man. Like, this is why, as much as like I'm kind of like, man, the world is a soft place, kind of happy in some places because some people shouldn't be going through this. Some people don't deserve to get sick animals, bro. Like, that's,
yeah,
especially when like they're naive, they're new, and they're basically spreading it to other shit without even
exactly.
Like
exactly.
That's like, man, and there's people who don't even get this far in the game and they deal with this shit and they never want to come back ever again. And, listen, at the end of the day, one thing I never want to be in this industry is somebody who pushes people away. Maybe I was at some point, but I never want to be that ever. I don't want to push people away from this because we need more people. Like,
yeah,
we're low in numbers. Like, as much as a lot of people, we feel like fuck with animals, we still need more, bro. There's still majority of people who don't. You know what I mean?
Right. Especially reptiles.
And that's what we're up against. And that's why having these kind of protocols or these biosecurity measures, like, as much as some people who've been in the game are like, oh, that's extreme. Well, motherfucker, it's not going to hurt us. If we clean up a little bit and we do things accordingly, it's going to make us look better. It's going to make somebody from the dog game who has pedigrees or somebody who's used to like documentation, like, that's not a bad thing to have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the dog game, it's its own world. We already know the dog game is a fucking, the fish game. Everything is its own world. But man, like, people who are organized, people who just have things like to back up their name, to make sure that, listen, whatever happened to that snake didn't come from me because here's what I provided for you. And you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's a piece of leveling up that people should really consider if they're just now coming into the game,
Yeah, that's even making me rethink my protocols. Like, should I, at the very least, be testing like my males every year, just in terms of animals that's already established in my collection, like my breeder males, because my breeder males, they pop it in like all kinds of different tubs, right? So if I can test them, then like I can see, hey, this one, there's an issue with this one, all right? So this one has been with like these 3 females, right? And so now that's pointing me towards like testing them and stuff like that. So I need to think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, but it's cool that you're thinking about this before your collection gets even bigger. Like right now, it's maintainable, Mike. Like, you could find out, and what they do, like, for instance, I think what they do is they pick a level, like they'll pick like a level section of a rack and they'll test those snakes throughout the whole year. And then the next year they'll go to another part of the rack or something. And they go to certain breeders. Like me, bro, like, I got to tell you right now, this year I am going to do that. Last year, the only reason why I got 2 Nido tests on ball pythons is because they got RI. And I freaked out. I was like, I've never had an RI with any ball python. And I thought right then and there, I had Nido, because I was like, why the fuck does this ball python have RI? How is this even a thing with ball pythons? Because I've never dealt with this. But really, bro, I just overworked the fuck out of these males, and they both went off food. And yeah, I mean, stress, all this shit happens. And so I got them tested though immediately. And I got to tell you, that was the longest 48 hours of my life. I was like, I thought it was, and like, man, honest, you know what I was thinking? Like, what am I going to do if these come back positive? Like, I have to do something first and foremost, but like, I'm not somebody to fake the funk. Like, I'm very open when snakes die or something happens. I come and tell you guys because it makes me feel better. And I don't know if I could keep that in. If I had positive Nido snakes in my fucking collection, it would eat me alive. I would have to talk about it, I feel like. But people out there could just keep doing their thing and not giving a fuck. And it's a scary thing to think about. That's why people should just really just vote with your dollar very carefully, guys. Like, you know, if there's a rap sheet of somebody who has historical facts of them sending sick animals, don't buy from that person. What are you doing? Don't do it.
Yeah, you're putting your collection at risk.
There's too much other sick shit out there. There's people out there working with just as sick as shit who take care of their animals and that aren't sick and have stellar reputations. So I don't know, man. Listen, 2 hours went by quick, Mike. I ain't gonna lie. Fuck. I got a wrap up topic before we get into some hot seat questions. Okay.
Okay, bet.
What would you like? Like, where do you see, first and foremost? Okay. We're talking about production as far as what you're looking to hit at this year, right? But where are you looking to elevate things 5 years from now? Do you have a cutoff point with how many clutches you want to hit and stay at that number? Or are you just kind of going with the flow? Like, where do you kind of see production heading in the next 5 years?
So it's kind of like a hybrid approach, really. Like, I'm kind of going with the flow, but I do want to increase it over time. And the reason that I want to increase it over time is because I ultimately want to do something different, right? Like, I want to focus on ball pythons and then focus on some other investments and like live off of those investments. And so part of doing that will be increasing production, but I don't want to get too large because I just don't want to be like, I don't want to have like 200 clutches or anything like that crazy. Like, I really kind of want to take the Ozzy approach with it and just have like a decent sized collection that's powerful and really packs a punch. And so that's what I want to do with it. And so, like I said, this year, probably about 15 clutches or so. We'll see how that goes. We're going to start doing shows and stuff like that. And so like, that'll be another thing added to the mix. And so like, we'll do that slowly and kind of see like what that looks like logistically and like managing the time and managing resources and things like that. And so I want to like slow grow it. So 5 years from now, like I would say maybe 30 clutches tops. But we'll see how it go too. We reevaluate things all the time, see what worked, what didn't work, change stuff. And so it's really going to be like circumstance dependent, but I'm not in a rush at the end of the day. Again, I said all the time, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And so I'm not trying to rush to get to like some huge number of clutches. We just like slow grow it and just like build and evaluate. If it's working, we'll keep doing it. If we still got more bandwidth, we'll add on. If we don't, we'll cut back and just see what makes the most sense.
So if you were to ask me 2018 MJ, like how, like, okay, so 2018, I was like you, I was just trying to shoot for the moon and see if I could get a clutch. And I got my very, very, very first clutch in 2018. No, 2019. I'm sorry. 2019. I got my very, very first clutch. And I was like, fuck yeah. That means the next year I had 8 opportunities. I had 8 females. And if you would have asked me, MJ, if you were to hit your 8 clutches next year, what do you want the next year and the following year? And I had already asked myself this. And I remember 2018, I wanted to hit, 2019, I wanted to hit 8 clutches. I want to hit my 8 clutches, right? And I hit my 8 clutches. But then I remembered I have 20 opportunities in 2020, right? And I wanted to hit all 20. I think I only got 13, but I got 13. And then I remember 2021, I had about 25, okay, which was last year. No, 2020, what are we at? No, that's 2021, right? So 2021, it was, what I'm saying is I wanted to keep increasing. I wanted to max out each year, right? Last year, I maxed out. Last year, I had 30 opportunities. I had 26 clutches, okay? This year, I don't want anything more than fucking 15 clutches. I'm good, bro. I am, and only because, not because of the workload, it's because I don't have that much stuff relevant to what I want to work with. If I do max out, it's stuff that I'm not going to like I'm just going to want to get rid of it. And I don't really want to, like, that will come with the stuff I work with, but I don't want to, the overhead needs to stay low. And Mark Bailey, he couldn't emphasize that more than what he did on that podcast, that you got to keep your overhead low. And when you have snakes to sell, especially when there's snakes that are like, you know, they're okay, but like you know, they cost. You got to feed them. You got to keep them. Next thing you know, it's been 6, 7, 8 months. You still got them. And you haven't even posted them up on your morph market yet. Bro, that shit catches up very quick.
Yeah, 100%.
Just with 26 clutches, dude, I have over 60 hatchlings I haven't even put on morph market yet. And I'm just like,
it adds up quick, bro.
Woo!
Quick.
I'm just saying, like, I know I need to get on it, but like, imagine if my 2018 mentality was what I wanted and I had 60 clutches. Oh God. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, like, it all comes. We get it. Numbers are fun, but it has to make sense. It just
like at first, like, I mean, that's how I was, like, probably 2 years ago. Like, you'd ask me the same question 2 years ago in 2021, I probably would have had some crazy number that didn't make no damn sense. Just because I hadn't thought through it. I hadn't gone through it. Like we said earlier, experience is a great teacher. And so, like, that's huge. And so you learn, and so you just think about things differently. You get involved with different people who give you, like, good sound advice, and it's on you whether or not you listen to it or not. And then, like, going through, like, all that stuff, learning, you start thinking about things differently. But that's part of the maturation process. That's part of the growth.
It's part of the growth, man. And the growth comes if you just, you know, just stay down. Like, just focus. Don't worry about other people. And just, you know, stay motivated, man. Because, you know, like I said, the fun thing is important, because when you have fun, time flies, right? When you're having fun in life, next thing you know, you're like, what happened? And that's the unfortunate part of life and having fun, that fun makes life just go by quick. And I got to tell you what, since I came into this game, 5 years went by very quick, bro. Like, I can't believe it's already been 5 years, but I'm having so much fun. I don't know about you, Mike. It looks like you're having
fun. I'm having a ton of fun, bro. Like,
I mean, I've seen the
energy. Almost 3 years now. It's just...
Man, gotta say, man, this was a great episode. I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening, hanging out with me and the Trappers. But let's get these hot seat questions in, man. How you feel about that?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Let's get. Fuck, man, I gotta tell you about the likes. The likes are up, man. 80 likes. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, first, before we get into the hot seat questions, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the homies Justin, Jaffe, Big E. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to Mi Familia. Shout out to the usual suspects, Keys in the game. Shout out to everybody in the chat for coming to check us out. Shout out to everybody.
Damn, man, that's and I gotta say, you got mad support in the chats tonight. You got motherfuckers here ready to ride for you, and it really showed. So shout out to everyone in the chats for my man Mike tonight. Really means a lot. Sir. And thanks for having those likes at a respectable number, beyond respectable. That's what I'm talking about. Never had to say a word.
This is a dope ass community, bro. Like, I really love this community, man. It
really is, man. And it's only gonna get better, Mike. I'm telling you, man. What do you think? The next show we collab at, it's gonna be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. It's just gonna be nonstop hitters. But let's get these hot seat questions so you can enjoy the rest of your night. Hot seat questions. Big Mike, Herp Collector, coming in hot. You ready for Mike?
Let's go.
Frozen Thought or live?
Live.
A cut or no cut?
Cut.
On what day?
57.
Pre first shed meal or post first shed meal?
Post.
Favorite arboreal snake?
We're gonna go carpets. It's semi-arboreal, but we're gonna go carpets.
Least favorite codom, ball python codom?
Pastel.
Oh my God. Okay. Favorite super codom?
Oh man.
What's your favorite super?
Super chocolate.
You know what's crazy? To kind of put this on pause, I'm a big asphalt and gravel fan, but this chocolate shit, bro, it's up there. It's like the super form of a chocolate into any clown or anything, next level. I want to say it's probably more powerful than the gravel and asphalt in certain shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man, it's been catching my eye. I've really been investing in the chocolate, so I'm really looking forward to working with that.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay.
One reptile you would import anywhere around the world, what would it be?
Some sort of like locality boa.
What about one reptile nobody should ever import? Leave it alone.
What's that? I can't think of the name of it right now.
Come on, Mike, you got this.
What's the big monitor? The big monitor.
Asia. Oh, Komodo.
Komodo dragon. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Leave them alone.
Yeah, leave them alone. One reptile show you haven't been to, but you want to go.
Pomona.
Yes, bro. Can I get you to come to Trap Fest in July?
I would love to, bro.
Please, bro. I'm trying to build a roster. I think Emilio's coming. I don't know. I'm trying to figure something out to bring Big Ray. I just know there's some Florida cats coming to Trap Fest this year. I would love for you to come if that's the case. And it's the weekend of a Reptile Super Show. So,
oh, nice. Yeah. I'm gonna hit you up.
Big flexor or no flexor?
Big flexor.
Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Favorite football team of all time?
Florida Gators.
Damn, love it. Did you hear about Mark Bailey? He's an LSU guy. What do you think about that?
I mean, LSU, they are hate. I didn't know he was an LSU guy.
Yeah, he's from Louisiana, and he's because next week, not to spill the beans, but next Thursday, I'm bringing on a legendary fucking herper. His name's Eugene Bissett. Have you heard of Eugene Bissett?
Yeah.
So anyways, he's a big Gator head, man, and they have a bit of a rivalry. So
okay,
I'll make sure we go. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. LSU, that's our cross division rival. It was kind of a friendly rivalry until like 5 years ago when we had that hurricane. Then it got a little bit more nippy. So yeah, it's dope.
I love it though, man. You can't beat college ball, man. College ball on a rivals scale, it's really hard to top that. I'm telling you right now.
I love it, bro.
The energy is just electric. All right, back to business. Steak or fish? Did I say this one yet? Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Ribeye.
Nice. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
Favorite alcohol beverage?
Remy.
All right, and I know what to get you at Tinley. I got you. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
I'm gonna say Van Halen because that's the name I've heard the most. But I don't know too much from either one of them. But I'm gonna go Van Halen.
Favorite rapper out of Florida?
Out of Florida, ooh, Trick.
Damn, Trick Daddy. Trick love the kid. People don't understand. Like people like, especially the younger, like
they don't understand Trick, bro.
I always say MJ love the kids and go, oh, that sounds weird. Motherfucker, put on a Trick Daddy song, you idiot. I mean that on the Trick Daddy level, motherfucker. Like, you kidding me? Trick love the kids. Oh man.
Yes, sir.
Trick Daddy, man. Dro in the wind. That was like my shit in football, bro. Like I would bump that. Oh, Trick Daddy was gangster, dog. Oh man,
my favorite Trick album of all time is that www.thug.com. Man, I mean, from the beginning to the end, bro. Beginning to the end, you don't have to skip a single song, bro. That shit go hard.
Listen to the whole. Just let it play. Just let it play. Little word association. First thing to come to mind. First time ball python breeder.
Don't know shit.
Sticker swapper.
It's cool.
Stuck shed.
Humidity.
Cocoa.
Rotor chip.
Milk.
Cookies.
Instagram trolls.
Fuck them.
If you had to get rid of one recessive ball python morph out of the game forever, eliminate it, never coming back, what would it be?
Regular albino.
No disrespect. I'm sorry, man. No disrespect. Just, yeah, sorry. It got to go. Yeah, Big Mike. Hey, bro, like I said, we had at one point well over 70 people tapped in for this. One last time, first and foremost, let the people know where they can follow you at, when they can catch your show. Go and plug yourself up right now before we let you go.
Yes, sir. You can find me on IG, Facebook, YouTube, Morph Market. Everything is at Herp Collectors. Just Google Herp Collectors. We'll pop up all over the place. And you can catch Clutch Conversations live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go, man. Listen, I'm going to keep fucking watching your shows because I really feel like you're a huge influence to this podcasting world for the reptile game. Mike, stay loyal like you are. Keep doing your thing. Things are growing for you. I appreciate you so much, but that's a wrap for Big Mike, Herp Collectors, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. I'll catch you soon. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Good shit, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I got to say, man, the support I see for certain guests really matches every time that guest is awesome. And I got to say right now, this was an awesome guest. Love to learn more about the homie Mike. Can't wait to connect with Mike and his family and his crew at the next show. That's why it's important for you guys to go to shows. But it's really important that you guys go follow my man Mike, Herp Collector, on Instagram, like he said, and be ready for his podcast. He actually does his podcast an hour before Trap Talk every Thursday. So if you really want to get things warmed up, if you want to kind of get in the mood for a podcast night, you start with Big Mike. I'm telling you right now, Herp Collector. Don't sleep on my guy. Thank you, everyone, again, who showed love. Thank you for the super chats. Make sure you head over to my Instagram. Give me a follow, Trap Talk God 619, and give the podcast's Instagram page a follow as well. The Trap Talk Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. Go like and follow. Shout out to my Patreon members. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to tap into more than what you see here on the podcast, please go down to the link below. Top of the link, you're going to see the Trap Talk Patreon link. Join the Patreon family. Come fuck with us, man. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, and we tap you in with everybody 24/7, popping in the Discord. Cannot wait to link up with you guys. Guys, I know this week I was not able to do our Zoom meeting, but we're going to catch up Sunday, I promise you. So this Sunday, Trap Talk Patreon Zoom after party for our Sunday guests. Now, before we even get to Sunday, I want to let you guys know, Thursday night, I have a very special guest, somebody who I've been following since the beginning of all this. And I always looked at him like, man, this guy, I hope, can't imagine to be this guy someday. And this guy's awesome. I'm telling you right now, his boa game is next level, not to be slept on. But Jason Exotics, Reptiles, going down this Thursday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Go down to the link, set your reminder. And yeah, it's going to go down. Can't wait. Big shit popping. Shout out to you, Mike, Herp Collector. Great episode. Appreciate everyone who tapped in for my boy tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll catch you guys here Thursday, and I'm out.